I feel like there's some nice news when it comes to the future of ICP. And what is that? Not too long ago, of course, we all heard about the World Computer Summit that was held in Zurich, Switzerland, and I even made a video about that. But I think something very special happened there. And what is that? They did demo something called Caffeine AI. Now, why could Caffeine AI be so big potentially for the future of the internet computer? It's because allegedly, right? Caffeine AI is the world's first self-writing apps platform. Now, why is this amazing? It's because, again, a self-writing app platform. Allegedly, this could be something amazing, in my opinion. And I think this, if anything, also showcases how the internet computer is really pushing this narrative of AI. And also on top of that, it showcases how this is kind of being solidified as a project that does have a very big emphasis towards AI. Because when I was first talking about ICP, the internet computer, they were kind of showcasing themselves as this project that was trying to decentralize the internet. And in my opinion, that's a good objective and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think that is really something that people pay attention to, right? But when it comes to AI, people do pay attention to something like that. This is why I like the internet computer so much. Before they kind of had this major push towards AI, in my opinion, it already felt like it was a good project to begin with. I mean, the market cap was already massive, right? But now, again, we see stuff like this. It showcases that even as a massive project, they are willing to expand their horizon, willing to diversify. And this is what I do really like about the internet computer. Some people like to say, oh, it's kind of boring and all this. I get it. When it comes to the price of ICP, it's not doing good. But a lot of altcoins are not doing good. But hopefully, if things do recover and things do get better, I'm assuming that ICP could maybe do good too. We'll have to wait and see. But this is all just a waiting game in my opinion. But even besides that, again, in terms of price, it may not be doing the best. But in terms of fundamentals, take a look at how the internet computer is actually doing things, right? It's not just being lazy and not doing anything. And again, during times like this, like when the altcoin space, generally speaking, isn't doing the best, we see many other projects out there. They just kind of like stop doing anything. They don't really want to update. They don't want to do this and do that. But then when we take a look at, again, the World Computer Summit that was held in Zurich, Switzerland, and I've actually been to Switzerland twice. It's very amazing. However, even besides that point, not to mention in that event, we saw many projects out there from the internet computer ecosystem, attend the event, at least a team. We saw projects again in places like AI and also even agriculture. So I think that's very fantastic. Agriculture is not really a market that people often, sometimes I would say, associate with the world of, blockchain technology or like cryptocurrencies in general. But this is what I do really like about the internet computer. Not to mention, what do I think could really also benefit the future of the internet computer? It's because it can allegedly connect Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles. This is a big deal in my opinion because oracles are very necessary actually because, basically they are data feeds that bring data from off the chain, aka off-chain data, and they bring that data over into the blockchain. The reason being is because many decentralized applications out there, they do need this data for their, again, applications to function properly. But here's the way to take a look at it. We see projects like Chainlink, which is very massive, being focused on oracles, generally speaking. We see projects like Pyth. I mean, I'm not saying there's only two, but those are like the most popular ones. We see projects like that be focused pretty much heavily into oracles. But then the internet computer just kind of steps in and says, you know what? We don't need that extra step. We can bypass that process and just do it again without oracles, connecting Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles. This is how amazing the internet computer is. I mean, focus on AI, right? Can connect Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles. Not to mention as well, ICPs listed in major exchanges. And also, let's not forget as well, the internet computer is, still allegedly, I would assume, trying to decentralize the internet, even though it's a very tough task. But in my opinion, again, we have to take a look at how it's a very complete project. And when I say all this, right, people like to say, oh, the internet computer is bad and all this. Well, I disagree. Again, the price going down when it comes to ICP, generally speaking, of course, we saw it have a very good pump not too long ago, but I'm just saying, the price being like this doesn't necessarily mean that the fundamentals are bad. Like if let's say the price of ICP went down 50% for whatever reason, it doesn't mean that the fundamentals became 50% worse. I think sometimes people associate low prices with bad fundamentals, but again, I don't think this is the case here. However, even besides that, Is $100 still a hypothetical scenario in which ICP could maybe achieve during a fully fledged bull run? Well, even though nothing I say is financial advice, I don't see why not, because if it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $53.5 billion, which is around a 16x from here. But around a $53.5 billion market cap, or let's just say for simplicity's sake, 53, right? That doesn't seem like a outlandish market cap, in my opinion, at least, because we see something like Dogecoin exceed over 80 billion back in 2021, Shiba Inu reach around 40 billion. And of course, I'm talking about market cap, not in terms of price, right? But I'm just saying, Dogecoin and Shiba Inu did that back then. And the factors, I think, are not as bullish as right now. I mean, currently we have over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research, more than ever before in history. I mean, just imagine that. I feel like this upcoming hypothetical peak of an altcoin season, if it were to happen, I think it could maybe be a lot better than what we saw back in 2021. And take a look at Charles Hoskinson, who not only is the co-founder of Ethereum, but the founder of Cardano, back in November of last year. So again, that's like last year, right? But I'm just saying, he said back then that 1 or 2 years from then, he could very well see Bitcoin reaching anywhere between $250,000 all the way up to $500,000. So his time frame is 1 to 2 years from then, right? So from that prediction, even though it may never come true, we just don't know. Again, best case scenario, that's November this year. And worst case scenario price prediction is $250,000. If ICP was able to do pretty good not too long ago, imagine what it would do if, let's say, Bitcoin reaches $250,000 as a minimum, according to Charles, maybe in that prediction, or in that case, I should say. Could you imagine, again, if those conditions were like that, what would happen to something like ICP? This is just the way you take a look at it. I wouldn't think it wouldn't be anything negative, because I think it'd actually be hypothetically positive. But even besides that point, this is all just a waiting game, because I don't think even Charles Hoskinson knows the exact point in time, because again, he said 1 to 2 years from November, and that's all speculation in my opinion. But at least I'm going to pay attention, because if someone is the co-founder of Ethereum and the founder of Cardano, I'll pay attention. This is just the way you take a look at it. Doesn't mean he's going to be correct again, but I can't control anything when it comes to the market. I can't demand things to pump. I can't do that. I can only control myself. So instead of worrying about when things are going to pump, I'd rather be in the market. So then when things do hypothetically pump, if let's say it were to happen, then maybe I wouldn't miss out on it, right? I do believe in the future of ICP. And when I see news like this, when it comes to the internet computer, I would say this is something that I do like. And again, $100 really wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if, let's say, we do see a fully fledged type of altcoin season. However, again, only time will tell. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's Malik the Captain. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.